to the Talk of Life talk show with Elma and Kimberley over there in her seat over there. She always try to get into the middle. When she get in the middle, she gets stuck. So we put her back on the end, okay? We have a special guest, which I'll introduce in a few minutes, but we have to have complaints by Kimberley. Oh, Lord. What kind of complaints do you have today? Oh, Lord. Poor Otis.
I was checking out the church within ministry. No, let me back up. Circle back. I was on Instagram.
Uh-oh.
Instagram.
Instagram.
Pop up. And I had to go back. I was like, that's Tara. And then I said, wait a minute. I don't think she's on Instagram. And I had to go back to see why was her picture up here? Otis changed his name on Instagram so I wouldn't know it was him.
He didn't name it Tara, did he?
No, he called it something, blah, 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 something. But I said, all these years I've been doing the show, put my picture on his page. Talk show wherever. I couldn't understand it. And then I went to Facebook and there was Tara again. And I said, that's Otis' page. But Otis never put me up there all the years he known me and said, Kimberley Jeff's talk show host. See her on Mondays. He's never done that. Why? And see, that was him that sabotaged. See, he always sabotaged my mic. See, he did it to me. See, thank you, Manuel. I knew he did it. He always give me the wrong mic. See, he do this on Sundays because he know I'm coming. And after church, they set up and he give me the wrong mic. But that's okay. That's okay. I got to guess Mr. Owens witnessed it. You saw that, Mr.
I am a witness.
That was Otis. He do these little tricks to me. So the world can't hear me.
She and Otis get into it all the time.
And I noticed
Otis is not here tonight, so
I'm gonna get him because he gonna hear the replay. And I'm like, you got Tara, but I be here, and I love me some Tara. I love me some, but he never posted me because he don't ever post nobody. And then he gonna change his name on Instagram so I wouldn't know it was him. But I scrolled back. I said, that's Otis. I'm gonna get him. He has not
Otis.
yet posted me on his page yet.
Otis sounds like somebody who likes to
Yes.
get you guys riled up.
Yes.
He likes to get Kimberly riled up.
He does.
Not me. He always likes to get Kimberly riled up.
He's always
And
doing
he told me
something
and tell
to
me
me.
he was gonna miss him, Kimberly.
He's always doing something to me. Mr. Owens, he needs to come to your training.
On soft skills.
On soft skills. Because he's always doing something to me. There's always a trick somewhere. But yeah, we're going to talk about
I'm so
that.
sorry, Otis. But anyway, we always love the complaints between Otis and Kimberly. But one thing about the complaints, Otis never say anything.
He sure don't. He just smiles. He just sits over there and
He
smiles.
just sit over there and
look
smile.
at his phone. He won't even acknowledge me. Because he knows he's wrong, Mr. Owens. That's what it is.
But anyway, one day y'all will get to meet Otis. I know a lot of people be wondering, who is Otis? Otis is a person that always doing
Harasses
something to
me.
Kimberly so she'll
Always
have a
harass
complaint,
me.
okay? So without that complaining, I don't know what we would do on this show, okay? But anyway, Otis, I still love you. I still think Kimberly loves you too, but
Well.
anyway,
He's
we
always
hope to see you back and we
sabotaging
hope
me.
you start feeling better with
Yes.
all of her complaints. I thought she would be nice to him since he
No.
was out sick.
No.
But anyway, that's Kimberly complaints for today.
Yes.
All right, at this time, we're going to have our scripture walk or scripture dance. We never know what Kimberly's
What our
going to do.
music- Yeah, what music Otis is going to
But
play.
we need our scripture walk. All right, drop that beat. Okay, on the Talk of Life talk show, we always have our scripture, which is Philippians 1:6. And the short version is finish what you start. Whatever it is that you're going through, stop and finish it. Don't be a procrastinator. Why? Because this next one says you can't be the person that never, ever give up. So keep on, no matter what life or how life circumstances come your way, please don't ever give up. And remember, finish what you start. That's Philippians 1:6. All right, so I know you minds out there, y'all are wondering what we're going to talk about tonight on this wonderful show, because we always like to bring people on the show that's going to encourage our audience and also encourage us and give us a little bit about themselves. So tonight we have, everybody come on my show as a doctor, okay? So tonight we have Dr. Darryl Owens, and he's going to tell a little bit about himself. But I can't even remember. How did I meet you?
I think I was calling about being a part of the.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I got a phone call from him, Kimberly,
Oh,
to be
nice.
on with the IWG. That's what it was.
Yes.
And we got to talking, and he was sharing that he has a business, and I told him, well, you need to come on my show and talk about your business. And he was at our IWG meeting the other day, and I mean, just a good presentation. And I'm really happy that he was able to come and be on the show. So we're going to kick this off with Dr. Darryl Owens. All right. Yes. All right, doctor, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I just got a promotion because I was never a doctor until this exact moment right here.
Ah, see, there you go.
But
Get promoted quick on here.
You know,
Yes.
which means I'll have to come back because who knows where I'm going next, right?
That's right. You might get well, we never know.
So my name is Darryl Owens,
Yeah.
and I am the CEO of Blue Palmetto Training.
Okay.
I'll wait for you to ask me the question about where I got the name from a little bit later. But I am a trainer, consultant, and I specialize in soft skills.
Oh, I love soft skills.
So I retired from AT&T from their training
Alright.
department. Was a performance development coach. I was there for 27 years.
Ooh.
Wow.
And when I retired, I decided to do what I enjoyed the most, which was to.
Want to talk?
It's not just talk; it's about what you talk about. All right. So I like talking about soft skills. You know, one of the things I did. I was a salesperson. I was a sales trainer. I ran the training department for AT&T Yellow Pages for a while.
Oh, that's
Had up to 5 training centers across the country. And but what I enjoyed the most was management training and personnel training. So that's what I like to do right now.
So in the I'm gonna ask the question because I know y'all wondering how did he get the name of his company?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question.
I know you are.
So I'm originally from South Carolina. That's the state where I'm from. The state tree of South Carolina is the palmetto tree.
Oh, okay.
And my high school color and also my favorite color is blue.
Okay.
Hence the name Blue Palmetto Training, because I think about creating, upskilling, and building on the foundation of people to help them be better no matter where they are, what they do.
Okay.
So my foundation, back to where I grew up, my high school in my hometown, in my home state, Blue Palmetto.
That's good.
That's really
That's
cool.
a good name. And it's an eye-catching name, too, because people probably wonder how do he name his business that. But it is an eye-catcher name.
Most
'cause
people
we
do
was all
their
wondering
name.
that at the meeting.
Most people do their name.
Well, I think that there's enough Darryls and Owenses around here, but there's not
I
a lot
know
of
a lot
palmetto
of them.
trees around here. You know, they're kind
That's
of in
true.
South Carolina, so that's why I have it there. And it's a great conversation starter.
It is. Because that's everybody be wondering, why did you get that name like that? You know.
BP.
That's good. So what is your day like?
Well, my day consists of going to different places, different companies, and explaining to them why they need to upskill their employees.
Okay.
And upskill them mostly in their soft skills area. Because, like Kimberly and I were talking about a few minutes ago, if someone happens to leave a company, quit a company,
Right.
they're not leaving or quitting that company. They're leaving or quitting the people who are at that company.
That's a good point.
So if we could upskill, employees, that means that, they will increase the productivity because there'll be less conflict.
That's true.
They'll be able to have higher results because they have more working hours because they're not using conflict to take away from working hours. And probably most importantly, that means that they leave less, they stay with you longer.
Right.
So
That's true.
that means that you don't have to go through that cost and that time and that effort of replacing someone who already works for your company who is productive. The last research
good.
that I pulled down showed that it will take a company, a new employee, 9 months to get to the point where they can replace someone at the productivity of someone who left, who was already aware of what they did.
Of what they did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Took
it
all
benefits
that
everybody.
knowledge with
It
them.
does.
It
And
really
like
does.
you said, they leave the company Well, why do you think that? I mean, you said you upskill them with, is it soft skills the reason why a lot of them leave or what?
Well, people get hired because they have technical skills. You may be
Right.
able to drive a forklift. You might be able to do project management, but you get fired because you have no soft skills. You don't know how
That's
to talk
true.
to people.
I agree with you on that.
You don't know how to relate to other people,
Mhm.
and you don't even know about emotional intelligence, which is probably the first class that I try to get everyone to go through.
Well, tell us a little bit about emotional
Yeah, 'cause that sounds
intelligence.
interesting.
Well, first of all, if you see the abbreviation for emotional intelligence, it's actually going to be EQ, not I. It's going to be EQ, and I think that's because it was very, very popular to think about IQ,
Okay.
and so they kind of relate to each other. EQ, IQ.
EQ, IQ.
Yeah.
Okay.
So emotional intelligence helps people to understand their emotions, things that motivate them, what things that demotivate them,
Okay.
understanding what they are,
I like that.
and not only understanding what motivates, demotivates, and impacts you, but
Mhm.
what motivates, demotivates, and impact other people as well. So
Mm.
now, once you can understand what those things are, then now it's about how to navigate those things. Okay, so we understand, what's going to make you operate in a higher level of efficiency, and what's going to force you to work in a lower level of efficiency.
Good.
Being able to understand who you are and what you are. Now, there are different classes I can do for that,
Mhm.
but the essence is an emotional intelligence. You need to understand those key things. What are the triggers, and how do you operate the triggers?
Okay.
That's why you find some people that are naturally magnets for some people.
Right.
It's because they know how to relate to different people, and they're using
Yes.
emotional intelligence on how to do that.
Okay.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
You've got these wonderful mugs in front of us here, okay, which probably hold coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if I can identify that I really need a cup of coffee before 8:30 in the morning in order for me to be in a very productive mood,
Right.
okay, then I have identified a behavior
Right.
and I know what the trigger is.
Okay. Okay.
So if I'm going to have a good day and going to operate at my highest
I
level,
like that.
I probably need to have a cup of
Cup of
coffee
coffee. Yeah.
before 8:30.
Okay.
Now, I can stop on the way to work and get one.
Uh-huh.
And if I don't stop on the way to work, then maybe I need to get one as soon as I get to the office where I'm going to start.
Okay.
But with that cup of coffee,
Uh-huh.
I get a chance to operate at my highest level.
Okay.
Okay? So that's understanding what you have.
I like that.
Now,
Okay.
if I get to work and it's 8:30 and you work along with me side by side, or
Mhm.
maybe you work for me, if I have not had a cup of coffee by
Uh-oh.
8:30 and you know that,
Mm-hmm.
it might be smart for you to make sure you get me a cup of
Cup of
coffee,
coffee.
or encourage me to go
Yeah,
get a cup
get
of coffee
coffee.
before 8:30.
Okay.
Otherwise, my bad attitude
Don't
will
come.
spread and make
There you
your
go.
day, operating with someone
Okay,
with a
so-
bad attitude.
Are you the boss with a bad attitude, or are you my colleague?
It doesn't matter.
Because if you're my colleague, you gonna be quiet, and you gonna sit there and be quiet. You will not ruin my day because you didn't have your coffee before 8:30. Let's get that straight right now. We not gonna have that.
And some days that happen. That's why you see, when I was a kid, sometimes somebody would say, did you have your coffee today?
Right,
Uh-huh.
right,
You
yeah.
know, because of the
Yeah.
attitude.
Yes.
But the point is that if I know that,
Right.
now I am in control of that.
Right.
Mhm.
So I'm really in control of whether my day is going to start positive or not.
Right,
'Cause
right.
you're
Okay.
in control.
Exactly.
You're in control.
Yes.
Now, if you need me today
Uh-huh.
to be at my top level of
Get you a cup of
efficiency,
coffee.
you want to make sure that I get a cup of
Cup of
coffee before 8:30.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So that's, understanding who you are, your self-awareness, which is the very first part of emotional intelligence,
I like that.
self-awareness.
Okay. So I'm in control of who I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what if you don't know that what you just shared, that you need a coffee before 8:30? What if that person that worked with you don't know that?
And why does that person that work with you gotta know that? Because I'm not in control of you. Why do I need to know what you need to do to get your work done?
Well,
They hired you. They didn't hire me to take care of you.
that is a great question.
I like that.
Y'all
yeah.
better get it together because they don't pay me to monitor your behavior, because that had happened to me one time. They told us we all worked together, and my other colleague was on medication and she would fall asleep, and they said it was my responsibility to keep her awake. Well, if it's my responsibility to keep her awake, then y'all gonna have to let me come in at 8:30 when I get through with the gym instead of 8 o'clock.
Ah.
But see, you weren't willing to do that, so I'm not willing to keep her awake. She gonna need to get her another job.
Well,
Because it's gonna have to work for me too. Because I don't, I don't want to rush from the gym. I want to be, arrive at 8:30,
Mhm.
and she sleep over there knocked out. I said, no, I'm not keeping her awake.
well, that self-awareness part is real important. Now, how you work together and how I work. Well, there's 5 levels of emotional intelligence, but that very last one is about, the socialization. How you work together with these things that you found out.
Uh-huh.
That's what you're talking about now. How do we build this culture of how we do things, when we do things, what we're going to respect, what we're going to accept, what we're not going to accept, and how do we
Right,
mitigate
right.
things that don't work right?
Yeah.
Right.
That builds a culture of where you work.
Right?
Okay.
It does. It
So
does.
that's how all this works together.
Okay.
Okay.
So we become a team player, right? Is that something like that? A team
Exactly.
player. So if I know this, and I get this through communication,
Yes.
because you would tell me or whoever on your team, this is how I operate first, whether you the boss or not. You are letting us know this, so we're communicating through this, right?
Yes.
That's part of the emotional
Emotional intelligence.
intelligent. So if I say, look, I'm like you, I do have to have my coffee. I love my coffee in the morning. So I get up early enough to be able to sit, watch whatever on TV, which is normally Good Morning America. Is that the one with Nate on there? I think that's the one with Nate.
I don't know.
And what's her name? And I get up, make sure I put my coffee on because I like it hot. I cannot stand coffee when you have to reheat it in the microwave. I don't like that. So I'm like you, I have to have my coffee. And it does make a difference, really. Because if I don't get my coffee sometime, I'm not in a good mood. But when I step into that workshop, my whole attitude changes.
Is that with or without coffee?
With or without coffee, I got to go in there and perform,
Well, now, and just because you don't get the coffee does not mean you can't have a good day.
You're right.
Me knowing that, I didn't have my coffee by 8:30 and how it affects or impacts my behavior for the rest of the day.
Right.
That means that I've got to have some things that I have to kick in automatically to try
To
and
make
raise
it.
my level. Right.
Okay,
I
okay.
started off slow today, but what do I put in place so that I can increase
Move up.
my performance for the rest of the day
Without the coffee.
without that
Okay.
coffee at
Or the
8:30
donuts?
or whatever it
Because
might
I hear
be.
people say that at work they can't get started out their coffee, their donuts, and I'm just like, really? I mean, like they pay you to work, not for us to figure out how you start your day. That's like a
So, I'm glad
Come
you
on
mentioned
with
it.
it.
They
Come
pay
on
you
with
to
it.
work. So, if you're a good manager, okay, as I train my management people, okay, there's certain things that you have to really be good at if you want to get the most out of your people.
That's
Right.
That's
Okay.
good.
the management.
The very first
That's
thing
good.
the first thing I teach is what's called the tactic of having a getting to know you conversation.
Oh, okay, I like that.
It's not just talking to somebody. It's how you talk to them.
Talk to somebody.
Right, right.
And it's how you talk with them and uncover what it is about why they're working. Do you understand why you're working? What motivates you? What
Okay.
demotivates you? Okay,
That's
what things
good.
are you interested in? Now, if I understand those things and I know those things, I know that up front. Now I know what this, I know what the,
Right.
I know what the landscape looks like.
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
when you think about leaders, I hear a lot. So I used to hear people say, well, he's a natural born leader. Well,
Right.
I disagree. I don't think that they're natural
No.
born leaders. I
Right.
believe that you have certain, there are certain things that you're born with
I agree.
that can be, that help you create a strength zone in your personality.
Right.
But I believe that leaders are actually built.
Right.
Okay, so there are things that they have to
Making of a
learn.
leader.
You have to learn leadership skills.
I agree.
And one of those things that people have to learn is how to communicate with other people and
That's
get the most out of them.
There you go. Yes.
yes.
And one of those things you can identify to help you get the most out of people is their different styles.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
What is their personality style?
Yes.
Okay. So then there are a lot of assessments people have. You have Myers-Briggs, you got this
Yes,
one,
I
Yes.
did
this
that
one,
one so
whatever.
many times.
Yeah. Well, I have a different take on it.
Mhm. I haven't done it in years. I used to do it in my
Yeah.
workshop
I
for
haven't
my
done it in
customers,
years.
just to get to know them.
Well, see, I use a modification of DISC's
Okay.
assessment. It's called DOPE.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's bird styles.
Okay.
Dove, owl, peacock, and eagle. That's DOPE. That's called DOPE.
That sounds good.
And people have a tendency, from what I've noticed, to remember those more.
Yeah.
So if I can get you to think about people's personality, get you to understand what their personality is.
Mhm.
Now, how do you work with that personality? Okay. What do you need to go ahead and lead with in a conversation? Because different people will gravitate to different types of information.
True.
And if you give them what they want to gravitate and latch onto first, they'll stick with you longer. So if you can identify what those things are,
Okay.
you know what motivates them. You know how to use that and when to use that, not for manipulation purposes, but just to get that person to perform at their highest level. What's that formula? You know, they're going to like being around you because they get more done. They get more done. They have more success.
Right.
And you know what? I want to be around people who can help me be successful.
True.
So that's some of the components that you have. You know, but it's not just that. You have to have other things too. You have to understand how to do a proper transfer of certain skills.
Right.
Okay? If I have an expectation of you, and there's 5 things that I believe you need to do. First of all, I need to be able to explain it to you.
Right.
True.
Okay, explain it clearly.
Clear.
So I can get the understanding.
Exactly. Second thing I need to do is I need to be able to model that to you.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So I can show you what I expect of you.
That's right. I like that.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Now, once I can show you what I expect of you, the third thing is that I need to be with you and let you practice with coaching. So as you go through it, I can give you feedback. Hey, you did this part well. You're doing that right. Let's change this over here. Make this a little bit better. Okay. So you practice with coaching.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And now the fourth thing is once you get to the point where you're doing it right. And what I mean by right is you can do it by yourself without my assistance up to the level of my expectation. I need to let you know that you're doing it right. That's what I'm looking for. That's the fourth thing. Now, the fifth thing in my 5 steps is that once you have reached that level, I need to continue checking in with you and asking you how it's going.
Yeah.
Okay. I call that the follow-up.
Yes.
So you got to have the follow-up.
Yeah.
Okay. If I give you the follow-up, then we're reinforcing
That's
all
true.
those positive behaviors. Okay.
That's true.
And then you're going to continue to do things well.
Right. And I agree with you on that because I figure if a person can get the understanding of their job, they're trained right in their job, they'll do their job. But a lot of time we don't get that.
That's true, and that's unfortunate.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people like to just like it's like I'm gonna get a baby and throw in the middle of the of the lake, and if they swim, then they're supposed to live, and if they don't, they're gonna die. Right?
Well, they say you swim or die.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that came from.
And that's what it got. Yeah, you swim or die.
Yeah, and I don't believe that is the best way to handle it.
I don't either.
You know, because I know about my challenges. I know what my personality is. I know what types of people that I'm going to gravitate towards, what type of people I'm going to struggle gravitating, connecting with. And for me, even though it may not be the easiest person for me to, to attach with, I've got to work at it. So that's a gap in me and my personality.
Right.
We really need Otis here for this. Especially on this part right here.
But that is so important because it starts at the management level to me.
It really does.
The manager needs to know how to talk to the people and how to motivate the people and where they will want to do the job. You know, I talk to a lot of companies and when I go out and talk to some of them, I always like to talk to some of the customers. Okay. I did a company one time and we was waiting on them to come in. I just happened to ask some of the customers. I said, what do you think that your manager should do? And a lot of them said they don't get appreciation.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the first thing all of them popped out and said, we feel like we are not appreciated enough. They don't give us any kind of little thing to make us feel like we're appreciated. They don't come around and say nothing or even give us any kind of plaques or even Christmas parties or anything to try to make them want to come to work. They love their job. They just felt like they wasn't appreciated, you know? And that can really help a person on the job if they feel like they are appreciated and they are not micromanaged all the time. Like, oh, you can't do your job without me being here by you. Have you ever, some managers think that I got to be right there by them.
Well, I think the more confident you are in your management skills and your ability to help change behavior, you can learn to trust people more. Some people do have a trust issue.
They do. They really do.
And they feel like unless they're on top of you, you're not going to do your work.
There
and you're
you
right.
go.
That's really going to get them, get somebody feeling a certain way. Now, I have one client that I do a training for every year, but that training is disguised as a Christmas party.
Oh, how's that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's disguised as a Christmas party. And we give out gifts based on, the information that they can recite or recall from the training.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we've been doing it for 5 years now. Every year I go in December and I do a training for them.
And they have to remember some of the training skills or what?
Right. So at the end of every training, I always do knowledge checks.
Okay.
So we're going to check your knowledge on how much of what I said that you remember, or you can actually put into practice and show me that you can put it into practice. Okay. And so every year there's something different that I will use, to do that knowledge check.
Okay.
And they love it, and we keep doing it, and they look forward to it.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that I have incorporated in my company, which has gotten a lot of companies come back to me, is that I kind of incorporate game show style training, with all of my knowledge checks.
Yes.
So in the knowledge check, we're going to do something to keep it lively, keep it fun, because people learn better when they have fun.
They do.
So
I work better when they're having fun,
and you keep you keep them going, because otherwise, if it's boring, I might do this.
You gonna check out exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to keep it, because the adult span is short anyway. Mm-hmm. What is it? 15 minutes? You capture them or whatever they say.
No, we're talking seconds. Seconds. And,
really?
And the more seconds before you capture their attention, the more difficult it is to pull them back in.
Okay, good.
Right. So that's why it's important to understand your audience and give them what they need to go and grab them at the beginning.
Right.
Okay. So that's why you see a lot of training start off with some type of a game or something fun, right? So that pulls them in. Mm-hmm. So that's what you want to do. But when they know we're going to be playing Jeopardy, we're going to be playing Wheel of Fortune, we're going to be even if it's Kahoot, but we're going to be doing Hollywood Squares.
And I don't even play any of those games, and when they do it, I'm just like, that's not even interesting.
$1,000 pyramid, whatever.
You know what I'm saying? And I always pick the games I never play. You just sitting there, or you go on the wall and you got to go draw. It's like, I don't even draw. Okay.
But you can make.
But I mean, I may be one out of 500, 300.
Well, see, now that's also the difference between somebody who's really interested in you versus somebody who's just interested in themselves. Mm-hmm. If I'm interested in making sure that you're going to have a great learning experience, I'm going to ask what type of games do you guys like.
That's right.
And then I'll modify whatever I'm going to do to the games that you guys like, that you're used to, that you want to be a part of.
So what game would you like to play, Kimberley?
Well, I had to think about it.
Oh, girl, come on.
Well, I'm just saying, when we have trainings, most of the games they talk about, I don't even play those games.
Do you play poker?
Do you play any games?
I mean, yeah, but not the ones we have when we do our training.
What games do you play, though?
Well, I haven't played in a long time. But most of the games that we have at our training, but they force us to participate. Right. So you don't have no choice.
I've been in those trainings before.
They force you to participate, so you have no choice.
I like Monopoly. I like, what is the little thing with the little, I can't think of the name of it right now, but I love that game.
You're talking checkers? You're talking...
I like checkers,
the little thing you hit? The little thing you hit
I like
in the middle?
checkers. It's, I can see it. I can't remember. Emmanuel, do you remember that game that Darius and I always play? I can't remember. But anyway.
Sorry is good.
Sorry. That's it. Sorry. I love sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say sorry.
Uno. I love Uno. I love Uno.
Mm-hmm.
And Dominoes is my favorite.
Oh, see, that's easy.
Now, I can play some Dominoes.
That is easy.
But I always join in, because the trainers come, we don't know. When they come, they already come with everything, and then they tell us what we're going to do.
Right.
They don't necessarily ask us.
They don't ask us.
No, they don't ask us what we're going to do. They just, this is what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Have either of you ever participated in an escape room?
Nope. I haven't.
At work?
I heard they was fun, though.
They are fun. Okay? So you can do an escape room.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to the company. I mean, the company provides our training. Yeah.
Now, see, you will probably come in there and say, hey, what kind of game do you all like to play? They're not going to do that when they bring these people in.
No, they don't do that. They already.
It's not like y'all need to call me.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we probably need to call you to come in and do that.
They already have it set. You just sit down and you just go with the flow.
Yeah. But the thing is that, it's not about me. It's about the people that I am training and working with. So there should be conversations, I would hope, that they would contact the people at your management or the people who hire them or contract with them about you all and what you like.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
If they would do that,
that.
the manager would do that, and I'm gonna suggest that
Management
too.
do that. Ask the
If they would
staff.
bring in people and talk to them and see, and like if you was come in, we could talk with you and say, hey, what kind of games you gonna do? What are you gonna do? We could get a conversation started, and then maybe we could bring it back to our group and say, hey, he's gonna play a game. What kind of game would y'all like?
Are y'all
That
interested in?
would
Yeah.
bring everybody in if they would do that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but a lot of times they don't do
They
that.
don't do it like
And
that.
when they bring us in, but we haven't had a training meeting. I don't know how long now, in my department. But
Mhm.
I think the last training I did, Jackie asked me to come and do her youth things. She wanted me to come and motivate.
And help the youth. Yeah.
And I had a good time motivating them though. But I knew most of them anyway, so I knew
Okay.
what they liked. So it was easy for me to walk in there and do my little thing and have them laughing. Okay, because I knew the people already that most of them I knew that she was bringing in there. So that's different than what you would be doing.
Well, and I've done some other things that have
Mhm.
I use to capture the attention of some companies.
Yeah.
Again,
That'll
it
work.
is about participation,
Mhm.
and it's about being able to deliver information in a way in which they want to receive it.
Yes.
So I've
Oh,
held
yeah,
trainings
that's
at
good.
places that have captured attention, that may be a little unconventional.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done trainings at for a construction company.
Okay.
We did it at a beer barn.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because they said they got together regularly and they
Mhm.
drank beer. Okay, well we're gonna hold it at a
That's right.
microbrewery.
Mhm.
All right, and
That's
everybody's like,
good.
okay, well let's go there. Well then, they're at the microbrewery. They know they can drink after this is over, but they participated because they're in,
Yeah.
in
They
an
want to drink.
atmosphere
Yeah. What they
that
like. Yeah.
got-
That
they-
makes
that
sense.
they like and made them comfortable.
Right.
That's
Okay.
good.
So I did training at Main Event.
Oh no,
Okay.
we did a
Yeah,
training
but
main event one
We
time.
did. Yeah, we were
That
there.
was fun.
That's what we need.
So and they participated. They were engaged because they can hear the noise going around, and
Right.
everything, and they knew some fun was going to happen
After the meeting.
After the meeting.
Yes.
I've done trainings at a movie theater
Mhm.
where I rented out the whole theater. I did the training in the front, and they saw the movie of their choice after the training was over.
That was good.
That was
That was
good.
good.
That was good.
Yeah.
So there,
We've had trainings at the bowling alley, main event, and they got out of the office. That's a good thing I like. Instead of having them all the time at the office, our director that just left today,
Judy Mack.
he would take us to not Judy. Well,
Renee?
Judy Mack did do the
Yeah,
ones
Judy
at the
Mack.
bowling thing.
She did.
Now she did that, but Stephen we went to golf ball. What's that?
Oh, top golf.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yes,
over there.
he
That's
took
nice.
us, and he would ask us. Now that's one thing he would say. Where do y'all want to go have the meeting? Do y'all want to go out here or whatever? And we would vote on where we wanted to go. So he would take us to different places. We might go to a restaurant and sit there and eat, and which was good because we got out of the office.
Mhm.
So that was the good part about that, because he would sit there and let you talk. And most of the time they'll say, well, Elma, can you ask him this question? I said, no, you ask him that question. I ask him what I want, to hear, but they think I'm so bold that I would ask him what they know. If I want to ask him something, I'm going to ask him. And everybody have their own style of asking,
Mhm.
okay? I ask in a way where it's sort of fun like, but I'm direct with it.
Mhm.
And he knows that. But it comes out funny.
Mhm.
But he'll answer it. And the other one, they're like a little scared to ask. But he knows when I'm asking the question that I mean the question, but I'm saying it funny. Like, okay, Stephen, what we're going to do next week? I don't need you to be playing around like that. And he knows I'm serious, but I say it like that.
Mhm.
But he laughed and then he answered it for me. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They're afraid to talk to him and stuff, but I know how he communicates with me.
Yeah. So all the things we're talking about are elements of emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the place where people want to get to is that you understand what it is, and you can start categorizing. Well, this person being ineffective because of lack of skill,
Mm-hmm.
or is this person being ineffective because of lack of will?
Okay.
Okay. Now, once you can identify those two things, now you can figure out, whether it's worth investing more time and effort into this person to get better.
Okay.
Okay. Because if it's about skill and he's not relating to you because they don't understand how to relate to you, now we can work on things to help them identify, what's working well with you and what's not working so well with you when you communicate with different people. Oh, that's about emotional intelligence. Now, if you have a disposition where you can't tell, that, okay, that's one thing. The other part is, well, I know that I'm not giving it to you the way that you want it, but I'm going to give it to you that way anyway, because that's the way I want to do it, and it's about me, not about you. Now, that's a will issue.
Yeah, it's them wheelers. It's them wheelers on the job.
So there's a different way to deal with will, and sometimes you got to tell the will, the will. Let's call them the anti-will. You got to tell the anti-will that you need to get on the will side, or you won't be willing here no more.
That's true.
So that's what we want to do. But all these things. See, the thing about leadership. When you think about leadership, it's not about me. I can't make myself be your leader.
Okay.
I'm a leader because someone decides to follow me.
Good point.
Good point. That's good.
Because you can't be a leader if
That's
nobody
good.
following you.
No.
That's good.
No, you can be a dictator.
And tell people what to do.
Yeah, you can do that.
Right.
One way, force them to, I put down law, you got to follow law, or there's punishment.
Right.
Okay. That's not leadership.
Right.
Leadership is I'm going over here and y'all saying y'all follow me over here. Okay.
But in leadership, don't you have to have a personality to get them to follow you, or do they just follow you because who you are?
Well,
who they think you are.
It could start that way. But your results are going to show.
Okay. On how you treat the people.
How you treat the people. How are you able to get results from
them? There you go.
Think about this.
Okay.
Good leadership would be able to get you from where you are to someplace you don't even know you needed to be and have no idea how you're going to get there.
Right.
Okay.
Because you're coaching them to get there. You're promoting them and helping them to get where they need to be. Because they need to be there. But sometimes people need a little right?
Right.
Like Kimberley did. I had to get her 25 years to get her the model.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have thought, she did that naturally.
See, Kimberley, give yourself a hand. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be quiet back there. Did you hear him doing all that class back there?
Because I saw this in her, okay? Because some leaders can see things in people that they don't see in themselves.
Exactly.
But every time I would see her, it was just like I could see her on this stage. And she could just walk this walk. But she didn't see it with me at that time. You see what I'm saying? Because she did. And I would say, every time I see her, I tell you that dinner again.
Every time.
I would say, oh, girl, you need to be a model. Oh, no.
I'm okay, Elma.
I'm okay. But eventually, I tricked her into it in a way because she came to one of my talk shows to hear this other guy. And she always dressed nice. And I said, oh, Kimberley, you get a model for me tonight. And she gave me this look, but I pushed out. I can't get out like that girl. And it's just her aroma around her. It just and other people saw it too. They would say she looks like a model. And now she's modeling everywhere. Anybody else got a model, she'll do it. Awesome. But a good leader, like you said, will get them where they need to go. And as long as they want to go, they'll get there. But sometimes if you got a leader that doesn't see nothing but themselves. Okay, have you ever experienced that?
Oh, all
the
time.
Leaders that only see themselves, they ain't worried about they nothing. They just want you to do the work and don't say nothing to me.
And
don't
go
talk
home.
to me.
Don't talk. Don't move.
Don't
interact with your colleagues. Nothing.
Yeah, I've had a manager or supervisor, if you want to call him that, that preferred nobody to talk to them.
And that's not good to me.
No. And then when there was interaction, it was really superficial.
Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yes.
superficial, and that's not the type of person that I believe I can trust.
Right.
I can
Right,
learn
I agree. I
Right.
agree.
who has my best interest at heart.
I agree.
Okay,
Mhm.
and who is not, whose goal with me is not to
Mhm.
put me in a position to be successful.
That's
Right.
right.
Okay, if you know that I am going to put us in a position to be successful,
Mm-hmm.
you're much more willing to buy into the mission.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's
and
true.
and that's what I think that's why we work.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, that might be why we play. You know,
Mhm.
if I know I have a coach on my softball team whose goal is to make sure we lose by as many runs as possible, I'm not going to be motivated to come out and play.
And I wouldn't even want my kids to be on the team. You know what I'm saying? So why would they? And this is the reason why I feel a lot of people quit their jobs is because sometimes the management is not
Mhm.
good and
It's
they're
not.
not going to
They're not
stay there.
effective.
If you have a good manager, like I shared at the IWG. Now, Michael Wallace, I don't know if he's still living on whatever, but anyway, he was we all adored him because he would always bring us cute little sayings every morning. He would get there every day, and we would have saying and a piece of peppermint on our desk. And if we did a good job, he would come around and say, "Elma, you did a great job today, girl." He would motivate you. You would run to work. You want to get there because you knew he was going to have a saying on there. Even if we was on vacation, we got back with 5 different sayings. 5 peppermints was on our desk. That made us want to work more. And it was just, when you get managers like that appreciate you, even that little peppermint made us want to work more. I still got some of my sayings right now that he passed out. I put them in a notebook, and I go back sometime and read those sayings, because he showed us appreciation. And it wasn't no big thing. It was a piece of peppermint and a little thing. But most people, when I talk to them, they feel like they are not appreciated.
Well, and there are businesses that are out there. Their business model is to help you
Mhm.
show appreciation. Now, there's a somebody in Fort Worth. I won't mention her name because I don't
Mhm.
think she. I didn't ask her if I can mention her. But her whole business model is to help businesses show their employees appreciation.
Right.
Mm.
So
And that's good.
yeah, there are people that specialize in that. But
Mhm.
you don't have to wait on that. You can, like you said, you can do it yourself,
Right.
and it doesn't have to be expensive. Okay,
Right.
but a little time goes a long way.
Right.
A moment of appreciation.
And it does. Kimberley gave an example on our other show about a certain person, how you said you had to go in and try to, she
That
had
was
to do some.
management.
Yeah, she had to
Trying
go
to break management down
right.
so they wouldn't be so rigid
Mm-hmm.
with their staff because they were like that. They didn't want to talk to anybody.
Right.
They would come in, you do the work, they take notes, and then the employees were having to break management down so they wouldn't respond like that.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
There's a way.
Or the wall down. So
There's
they
a-
would be more open and pliable. Understand our needs as far as working with them.
If do you want to get the most out of your employees, then you're going to do things like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just interested in running them into the ground and and use them up and kick them out the door and bring somebody else in, you're not.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And
how
that's
it
true.
was.
And that's where soft skills come in, is learning how to communicate with each other, how to talk to them, how to get them to comprehend what you want them to do, is getting to know that person and being able to relate to that person so that you can find out what it is that they don't like. I had a lady the other day, I know our time is going in, but she asked me, she said, "Well, Elma, do you do a workshop on soft skills?" She said she had this guy that really loved his job, but he didn't know how to communicate with his manager. And he was tired of his manager beating down on him, talking down to him and all this. Now, he wasn't talking about his work. Now, his work was good, but he was just
that's
Mm-hmm.
like nitpicking it,
interesting.
just coming in. And he said that, "I didn't want to quit my job, but I got tired of that." So she said, so I put together a soft skill thing, how to talk and how to interact, and try, like what Kimberley did with her manager, to bring the manager in, really. Sometimes we have to do that with the managers if we really want things to do. Sometimes you might, as an employee, might have to figure out how to get your manager to, change a little, because sometimes they don't even know
Because I used to have to say to her, okay, you need to go around and talk to staff.
Yeah.
At least say hi,
Say
check
something.
on them.
Yeah.
You just can't stay in here in the suite. You have to go out there. I mean, it would be nice if you would. You don't have to, but we're going to need you to just go check on everybody. And she
Yeah.
would just look at me.
Because see, you know what?
I'm
That really makes the employee feel good when they see their manager or even their director that's over the manager to come out and say, "Hey, how y'all doing?" And it's like, I know who my manager is. You know, Judy was really good with that. Judy would go out.
Judy.
I mean, she would go out and talk to everybody, go to the Ranger game. She's going to make you feel good when you go to banquets with her. She's going to mingle with you. She didn't think she was all the way up here and everybody was down here. And she's the CEO of Workforce. And she just retired. And I know everybody's going to miss her.
We sure are.
Huh?
I said, we sure
Oh,
are.
yeah, we're going to miss her. So, but anyway, it was just good to see that she was up here and she mingled with us all.
Shakib is like that up C2 GPS.
Oh,
He's like
yes.
that. I mean, you would think y'all were friends forever because he remembers your name. He always gives you eye contact. When you least expect it, he's standing there and he's just like, "Oh, hi, Kimberly. How you doing?" I was like, "Oh, how you doing?"
Now, who's that?
Shakib.
Oh, yeah.
Shakib, he's really,
Yeah.
really,
He really
like
make you
that.
feel nice. Even when he gives those dinners, he comes around and talks to everybody.
Nobody goes.
Yeah.
It's
And he don't
very
even
rare.
mind, you know, just mingling with you, laughing with you and stuff. So what would you tell our audience before we have Fashion by Kimberly? What would you tell our audience? Something that can motivate them to stay on their jobs or what?
Especially with their
Because some
emotional
of them are thinking about
intelligence.
quitting.
Well, you can think about quitting, and I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking about it. But what you,
I like that.
but what you want to do is have a real assessment of it, okay? And think about why you're leaving. You know, and are there ways to mitigate that? You know, because sometimes a change just for the sake of change is not a good change.
Oh,
That's true.
You know, so when you think about the skill sets that you have, think about those soft skills. Those soft skills are transferable. Okay,
That's true.
Those soft skills are going to make you a
Yes.
better person, a better employee, no matter where you go, even if you're working for yourself.
That's
Okay,
true.
so
That's
self-regulation is a part of, you know, the soft skills.
That's true.
So you want to go ahead and do that. So what I encourage everybody to do is, even if you don't go to a training class about soft skills, go online and find some training that you can take to help yourself elevate, upskill yourself in the soft skill area. And I guarantee you that you'll be better for it.
So how can they contact you if they wanted you to come in and train them? You do one-on-one?
or
I do one-on-one. I do small groups and large groups.
Okay.
I do 3 different lengths of classes. There's a lunch and learn, which is roughly 90 minutes.
Okay.
There's half a day, and then there are full day trainings.
Okay.
You can email me at Darryl@bluepalmettotraining.com. You can go to the website, which is bluepalmettotraining.com. My telephone number is 214-957-9011. Give me a call. I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you. No charge. Talk to me. Okay? So give me a call.
your 90-minute trainings are out somewhere, or where do y'all do those, or your one-on-ones?
Well, we do them.
We out shopping, like at Neiman's while we're doing it? Are we at the mall?
I have had people do that. But with the lunch and learns, it's 90 minutes roughly. You can have an extended lunch. They're virtual or they're face to face.
Oh, okay.
Either one that you want to do.
That's good.
So if you want to go ahead and listen to me like a podcast, you know, while you're doing lunch. That's
you have a
gonna be fun.
podcast?
I don't have a podcast, but listen to me like you listen to a podcast.
Okay.
Okay, at lunchtime, you can do that. If you want to be sedentary, which I recommend that you're listening to all the words that are coming out of my mouth, okay, then let's do that and you get the most. But I think you get more. But the way you get the most out of my trainings, my soft skills trainings, is for you to attend them live.
I like that.
Okay,
That's good.
and if you guys remember that black and white Western show Paladin, okay,
I watch that every Saturday.
you do remember what's on his card? Okay,
Have guns will travel.
that's right. Paladin said, "Have gun will travel."
That's his card. Have gun will travel.
Blue Palmetto Training, have training will travel.
I'm gonna use that.
So this is how you should just be out, just be a motivational speaker, or just out somewhere we can just go and see you.
Well, I also do. You know, I'm also a speaker, a
Okay.
professional speaker.
Okay, we can find you on Facebook.
I'm on
Instagram?
Facebook, LinkedIn.
On
I do not
LinkedIn.
have an Instagram page. Facebook, LinkedIn, you can connect with me there.
So you'll tell us where you're speaking if we follow you, if you're out speaking somewhere.
I will
and it's
do
for
that.
the public or just private.
No, I will do either or. So one of the challenges that I have is that, I really don't like to make a big deal out of myself. And it's crazy because the business that I'm in, I'm in front of people. One of my afternoon job, I'm the school board president for the Kennedy ISD.
Oh,
Whoa,
okay.
And, so even
That's
there,
cool.
it's like, the demeanor that I like to use. My leadership style is not one of in your face. My leadership style is trying to lead you down a path of self-discovery so you can be the best person that you possibly can be, and so that's a part of what I try to teach and what I try to share. But that's based on my personality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the personality that other people have may have to take a different path in order for them to be their best person, and that's something to help them uncover as well.
All right,
That's good.
All right, thank you, Dr. Darryl Owens. We're going to have our fashion by Kimberley right now. Drop that beat.
So you're gonna talk, Elma?
Yeah.
It's just he gonna throw on my song.
Oh, that's your song? You like
Yes,
that
he
one?
gonna do my song. He trying to be funny.
I know this is the hour that a lot of people like to see.
Woo.
What is Kimberly going
This
to
is my
have
corporate
on
look.
tonight? And you know her
Elma
favorite
caught me
color
off
is
guard
black.
today. This is my corporate look.
That's her corporate look.
I go to work.
So she can go get a headshot tonight.
Yes, I'm gonna get a headshot tonight.
Now let me see the boots. Let me see the
Oh
shoes.
yeah, this is my little work shoes. This is work day.
Oh, those are- I don't know how, but she can really wear these beautiful shoes, and she loves to dance while she's fashion. LA, if you're looking, get ready because she's going to do her fashion show this month sometime.
Man, LA was at church. He was so sharp. He cut the path.
Oh, did
He
he?
had that head on. He cut the path. That head
Oh,
on.
LA.
LA cut the
And
path.
I love her purses. She always have these purses that matches or come with it. I don't know what she have in them, but they sure look like they full of something and everything. So, but Kimberly, we love Kimberly when she does fashion by Kimberly. I get a
That's
lot
the
of good
song right
points
there. You
from
remember
that.
that song? Yeah, that's the song right there.
What's the name of that song? Kimberly?
Funkadelic. That's Funkadelic. What is?
I don't know. I just know I
That's
know the song, but I
Funkadelic.
don't know who it is.
Yeah.
I like those old time songs and everything. All right, but before we close, I would like to introduce you to our Kirk booth. Kirk booth is one of the most famous photo booths ever. You can rent us at a reasonable price. We will come to your place. We will be there. We have memories forever. We do quinceañera, weddings. We do headshots. At job fairs, we do birthday parties, family reunions. The only thing we haven't done is a repass yet. So we might get into that later on. But anyway, check us out at www.thekirkbooth.com. Also, if you want plats or these beautiful little fans, or if you want t-shirts, we can design them for you. If you have your own design, you can send them to him and he will, hook you up with a beautiful t-shirt, hoodies, whatever. He can do it for you. You can check us out at www.kirkinspirations.com, where our t-shirts inspire others to want to buy. So check us out with those two, www.thekirkbooth.com and www.kirkinspiration.com. And if you would love to be on the show, here's another W for you, www.elmatalkshow.com, or you can messenger me, or you can messenger Kimberly, and watch out for Kimberly because she will grab you and have you on the show. So on next month, we will have Talk Business with Larry coming up on the first and second Monday. So tune in every Monday and Thursday, 8 p.m., Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. You always get a special showing. So until we see you again, thank you, Dr. Darryl Owens, for taking your time out to let us know how to express ourselves and how to communicate and deal with soft skills. All right, until we see you all again, face to face, may God bless you and keep you. Good night.